Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh to Subashir and fellow friends. My name is Muhammad Haikal Hakimi bin Muhammad Mushidi. Before I start my presentation, I will ask a few questions. So, the first question is, have you eaten Maggi in a few days past? Or maybe drink a Milo? So, because today, I will talk about Nestle and International Resources Movement and MNCS. Okay, about Nestle, have you ever thought about how they make money or capitals internationally? So they have two ways, which is the first one is portfolio investment. So like a usual way, which is using Bursa Saham Malaysia, and that one is a normal thing that has been done. How about the other one, which is FDI? The term FDI means foreign direct investment, such as they came to Malaysia, like Nestle came to Malaysia and they came and built a factory in Sri Muda, which is in Shah Alam. So with that, they are not just like investing in terms of capital for Bursa, but they also did a factory, which is that factory they have a full control of technologies and management. So with that, my part is done. For the introduction, I will pass for the next presenter about motives.
My name is Muhammad Amirah Hakimi bin Muhammad Rizwan. Firstly, we are looking at the international resource model, specifically focusing on the strategic motive that drive a global giant like Nestle to engage in foreign direct investment. As we can see, these are three motives, which is market seeking, operational efficiency, and product localization. Our first motive is market seeking, which is all about targeting all consumers in emerging market. Nestle doesn't just sit comfortably in their own country. They actively look for expanding their company around the world, such as Asia and the Middle East. By investing directly in this country, Nestle capture massive consumer purchase, becoming one of the largest companies around the world. Next, let's talk about operational efficiency. These goals here are to cut logistic costs and bypass tariff. Shipping heavy packaged goods like bottled water, milk powder, and confectionery internationally is incredibly expensive. If Nestle try to manufacturing everything in Europe and ship it worldwide, import tariff and shipping fees would kill their profit margins. By building local manufacturing plants, Nestle completely bypass these trade barriers. They source ingredients locally, manufacture locally, and distribute locally. This ensures their product remain competitively priced on their shelf. Finally, we have product localization, which means to adapt formulation. Nestle established local R&D center to adapt product formula to match original preference. For example, the sweetness level of chocolate or the flavor profile on Maggi noodles varies drastically between Europe, India, and Southeast Asia. They also adapt formulation for nutrition needs, such as milk powders with specific vitamin lacking in certain regional diets.
Hello everyone, my name is Muhammad Madiman bin Muhammad Padli, and today we are going to explore the critical mechanism that drive the global economy, especially the different investment types used by deep business and multinational corporation, or MNC. When a company or an individual decide to put money into a foreign market, they generally choose between two primary routes. portfolio investment or foreign direct investment (FDI). To easily to understand the difference, we can actually look at how a massive global brand like Nestle interact with the financial world. Let's start with the first type, portfolio investment. Think of this as a purely financial move. This involves buying stock exchange share or bonds in a foreign company. The primary goal here is to be divided seeking. Investor want a financial return on their capital, a slice of the profit. However, it has no control over day-to-day operation of the company. For example, Nestle, a Swiss multinational company, and its shares are traded publicly. And if an everyday investor sitting right here buy 50 shares of Nestle through a broker app, they are making a portfolio investment. They will get a nice dividend check when the Nestle profit of Kit Kat and Milo. But they have absolutely no control over Nestle global corporate strategy. They are simply passive financial backer. On the flip side, we have foreign direct investment (FDI). Commonly known as FDI, is where a company wants to sit firmly in the driver's seat. FDI is about investing in long-term physical assets like factories and office in a foreign country. Because of this massive physical presence, it comes with full control over operation and involves technology transfer, bringing advanced production methods and specific knowledge to the local workplace. For example, instead of people investing in Nestle, there is Nestle investing in other country. For instance, when Nestle pour hundreds of millions of dollars into buying a massive state-of-art manufacturing plant in Malaysia. Like United States, there is FDI. Nestle is on the land with the physical infrastructure manage 100% of the operation. Okay, to write it all up, portfolio investment is when we buy a tiny piece of Nestle for a quick financial return with zero control. FDI is when Nestle builds a massive physical factory in a foreign country to control production and transfer global technology. This perfectly set the stage for our next major topic, amazing dynamic and issue. When a giant Nestle like established physical roots all over the world through FDI, how do they navigate local cultural shifts, manage resource supply chains, and balance operate power with local government regulation? Thank you for your time. Next, I will give for my friend Ashkin. Thank you.
Now, I'm Wanura Ashikin. I will explain about the determinant of foreign direct investment or FDI using Nestle as an example. Before we look at the three factors, let's first understand what determinants of FDI mean. Determinant of FDI are the factors that influence a multinational company when deciding whether to invest in another country. Before investing, companies evaluate whether the country can provide a profitable business environment and support their long-term growth. For Nestle, these factors are very important because building factories and production facilities requires a large amount of investment. Therefore, Nestle carefully evaluates the host country before committing its capital. The first determinant is demand and market size. A large population usually means there are more potential customers and greater demand for products. Companies also consider whether the market is expected to continue growing in the future. In Nestle case, the company invests in countries with a large consumer market because more people create higher demand for food and beverage. Okay, next. Therefore, a large and expanding market encourage Nestle to make long-term investment through FDI. The second is cost structure. Another important factor is the cost of doing business. Multinational companies compare labor costs, production costs, transportation costs, and other operational expenses before choosing an investment location. For example, Nestle prefer countries where it can maintain efficient production at a reasonable cost without compromising product quality. Affordable labor, efficient operation and access to raw materials help reduce production costs, allowing Nestle to offer competitive prices while remaining profitable. As a result, lower operational costs make a country more attractive for Nestle foreign investment. The last one, the third one is infrastructure and government policy. Infrastructure include transportation networks, ports, roads, electricity, and communication system that support business operation. At the same time, the government policies such as investment incentive, stable regulation, and business-friendly laws also influence investment decision. For Nestle, reliable infrastructure ensure that raw materials can be delivered efficiently to factories and finished product also can be distributed quickly to the retailers. In addition, favorable government policies and clear regulation reduce the business risk and create a stable environment for long-term investment. This is one of the reasons why Nestle continue to expand its operation in countries that provide strong infrastructure and supportive investment policies. That's it. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Muhammad Hanafi bin Muhammad Talha, and my part is to talk about MNC dynamics and issues, which is in this part, I would like to talk about two things, which is the reason of MNCs and the problem created by MNCs. So the first reason of MNC is competitive advantage. Companies use vertical and horizontal integration to secure supply chains, exploit monopoly power, and adapt to local markets. Number two, economies of scale. Global operation allow firms to specialize production, utilize cheaper labor for assembly, and access international capital for large projects. Number three is higher profits. MNCs often find more lucrative markets abroad in sectors like electronics and automotive, operating as powerful oligopolies. And number four, strategic control. MNCs locate in low-wage nations to gain tax incentive and subsidies while managing their global tax bill by strategically shifting products between affiliates. And for the second one is the problem created by MNCs. Number one is home country issues. The shift of operations abroad often leads to a loss of domestic jobs. It can also erode the tax base through transfer pricing and reduce the government ability to control the economy. And number two is host country issues. The host nation risks economic dominance by foreign firms, leading to technological dependency and the siphoning of R&D funds back to the home nations. Furthermore, MNCs may engage in the exploitation of natural resources, pay low wages, and negatively impact the environment while shifting local competition. So for our case study, which is Nestle, the reason of MNCs is economies of scale, spreading risk, and sharing global expertise. And the problem that created by the Nestle, which is in the host country, is straining local water tables and crowding out local SMEs. The home country issues created by Nestle is hollowing out effect as manufacturing moves abroad.
Alright, to conclude our presentation today, let us look at the bigger picture of this case study. Based on what my teammates have detailed earlier, it's clear that international resource movement is the core engine behind Nestle global success. By expanding their capital internationally, Nestle is able to achieve economics of scale, distributing global risk, and especially leverage their specialized knowledge across borders. In short, this strategy is what allows them to maintain their position as a global market leader. However, from an economic and social standpoint, we can conclude that the operation of multinational corporation (MNCs) act as a double-edged sword. It creates a significant impact on both the host and home country. First, if we look at the host country like Malaysia, while we benefit from foreign investment and job creation, it also creates critical challenge. Nestle massive production scale can lead to the overconsumption of local resources such as water, which directly impact local communities. Sorry, sekali lagi. Which directly impact local communities. Furthermore, their immense market dominance create intense competition that often puts our small local businesses at a severe disadvantage. Secondly, we must not overlook the impact on their home country, Switzerland, when a giant like a Nestle shifts its manufacturing operation to lower cost nation. It triggers a hollowing out effect domestically. This structure shift lead to a loss of industrial jobs back home, potentially weakening Switzerland's own domestic manufacturing base over the long term. So, what is our final takeaway? The ultimate lesson from Nestle case study is that while international capital expansion is excellent for commercial growth, it must go hand in hand with corporate sustainability and ethical responsibility for MNCs. For MNCs to thrive in the future, there must be a balance where profit does not come out at the expense of the host nation resources or the home country economic stability. With that, we conclude our presentation. Thank you very much.